Have you ever seen a teacher get arrested? Mrs. Summer was the most beloved teacher at our elementary school. 20-year veteran, teacher of the year, everyone's favorite. But I started noticing things when my 8-year-old son, Jake, began spending lunch periods in her classroom instead of the cafeteria with his friends. At first, it seemed innocent. She said Jake was helping her organize supplies and clean whiteboards, but then he started bringing home expensive toys and snacks I never bought him. When I asked where they came from, he'd say Mrs. Summer gave them to him for being special. The red flag came when Jake started asking strange questions. "Mom, is it normal for teachers to take private pictures of students?" My blood ran cold. When I asked what he meant, he said Mrs. Summer told him she was making a special photo album of her favorite students for their parents. I immediately called the school. The principal assured me there were no concerns and that Mrs. Summer had excellent references, but something felt wrong. I started digging. I volunteered for lunch duty to observe her classroom. Jake and 3 other boys would eat lunch there instead of the cafeteria. She'd lock the door and close the blinds. When I knocked, it would take several minutes for her to answer, looking flustered and sweaty. That weekend, I found Jake's tablet hidden under his bed. There were photos on it I didn't take. Pictures of him and other children in unusual costumes and poses during what looked like classroom games. Timestamps showed they were taken during school hours. I confronted Jake gently. Mrs. Summer said it was for a special project. She told them it was their secret surprise for parents. She gave them treats and toys to keep the secret safe and promised them special privileges like being teachers' helpers. I called the police immediately. They said they needed more evidence before investigating a well-respected teacher, so I called the other parents whose children ate lunch in her classroom. Marcus's mom found similar photos on his device. Tommy's dad discovered expensive Pokemon cards his son claimed Mrs. Summer bought him. Kevin's mother noticed her son had started having nightmares about school and refusing to eat lunch entirely. We met at my house and compared everything. The pattern was identical across every family. Expensive gifts, secret photos, lunch period isolation, and pressure disguised as requests for secrecy. We went to the school board together with our evidence. They said they'd conduct an internal investigation, but Mrs. Summer continued teaching. We waited a week. Nothing happened. That's when we went directly to the district attorney's office with our lawyer and all documented evidence. Child Services got involved immediately. They seized Mrs. Summer's personal devices and found hundreds of troubling student-related photos spanning several years at multiple schools. The investigation revealed she'd been sharing this content with strangers online through encrypted platforms and private forums. The expensive gifts were purchased with money she received from those exchanges. She had developed an entire network of contacts who paid premium prices for specific requests. But the worst part, the school administration had received complaints about her before from other parents. They buried them to protect the school's reputation and their teaching awards. Friday morning, during first period, police arrived at the school with a warrant and FBI agents. I was volunteering in the library when I heard commotion in the hallway. Officers walked into Mrs. Summer's classroom and escorted her out in handcuffs in front of shocked students and teachers who couldn't believe what they were seeing. She was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison without possibility of parole. 7 other teachers from different schools were arrested in the network investigation that followed. The school district faced a massive lawsuit, and the principal was fired immediately. Jake still has nightmares sometimes, but he's in therapy and doing better. What haunts me most is how many other children might have been saved if adults had listened to parents' concerns earlier.